What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another action-packed episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. That's right. Today we're going to be talking about do older individuals, older guys, or what I like to say is old heads. Okay, you'll hear that a lot, at least in the Virginia Penitentiary. You will hear that phrase a lot, old head. Hey, old head, get over here. You know what I mean? Talking about an older guy. But anyways, do these individuals get beat up in prison? Yeah, they do. Okay, just because you're old don't mean nothing. I told a story about an old guy in a wheelchair that got beat the hell out of. For real, it happens. You think people care about your age? If you're running your mouth, okay, if you're running your mouth or say something disrespectful, it doesn't matter how old you are. You're going to get got, my friend. But does it happen on a regular basis? No, it doesn't. A lot of older individuals, man, they're respected. You know, they're really laid back. They're usually sitting there drinking coffee, playing rummy all day. You know, reading books or whatever. They're good individuals, most of them. You can go up to most of them and say, hey, can I borrow an aspirin? Can I borrow a soup? And a lot of them will be like, yeah, man, here you go. And they won't even charge interest. They might give you a little bit of wisdom before you leave their little cut or whatever, their cell. But older guys, okay, and when I say older guys, I'm saying 50s and up. Okay, they do get beat up. I'm going to tell you a story about this guy who was in his 60s. Okay, he was in his 60s. He's an older white guy. At least I think he was in his 60s. You know, I'm just guessing. That's about how old he was. I don't know if he was aging bad or something. I don't know. But anyways, this was an older white dude, and he had spider webs everywhere. He had them on his eyelids, his ears. He had them across. He was a bald-head white dude. He was probably racist. But he had spider webs all over his whole head. I'm talking about one huge spider web. He had them on his elbows, kneecaps. That's almost guaranteed 100%. Homeboy was part of some kind of white gang or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, this dude was old, and he was feeling sick for a while. He was in the pod that I was in Greensville, and he was feeling really sick for a while. He would wake up and throw up and stuff like that. And the reason why I knew is because I sat next to him almost every morning for breakfast, okay? Because I would sit next to the milk dispenser, because the milk dispenser has bags. They had these big milk bags inside of them. And at the end of breakfast, I would have a way of getting the milk bags and taking them back. I would either sell them or use them to cook wine. They're perfect bags for cooking wine. They even had little nozzles that you didn't even have to build anything to burp the bag or anything, okay? But check it out. Even if I wasn't getting contraband, I would sit right there all the time because I like to get refills of milk quick because that milk will run out fast, you know what I mean? And so did the white dude with all the spider webs. He would sit there, and we would talk all the time. And he never really told me too much, but I would talk to him all the time, man. I would yap. I'm talking his head off. And then at the end of the conversation, I'd be like, man, you gonna eat the rest of them grits? Because I knew he never ate his grits, and I was like, hey, let me get that. And you know what? I had plenty of canteen in my cell. I just loved to eat their grits. French toast, whatever the case is. Homeboy didn't eat much, so I got anything and everything that he didn't eat, especially sausages. He never ate his sausages. But anyways, this guy was really sick, and he went to medical, came back, and I guess they did some tests on him, and like a week and a half later, they found out that he had late stages of cancer. That's right. And they were telling him that he's going to be packing up and going to some kind of medical place. I don't know what it is. But when this guy found out the news about his cancer, man, he was really on edge. He was really sad and depressed at first, and then like a few hours went by, and his sadness and depression turned into anger and hostility. He started snapping on the COs, even snapping on the nurses. But anyways, this guy got into it one night with the younger cat before he left to wherever he was going, to medical or whatever. But he got into it, and they started rumbling, and little young buck beat the hell out of him. You know what I mean? Beat the hell out of him. And that just goes to show you that it doesn't matter about your age or if you have cancer. If you're running your freaking mouth sideways, disrespectfully, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to get it. Okay? You think people care about age? Maybe if you're like 80-something, someone might let a bunch of crap slide, you know what I mean? But if you're in your 60s or even pushing 70, hey, you running your mouth the wrong way, just like I said in that other story that I told y'all about the handicapped old guy who dropped the N-bomb. Hey, no one cares your handicap. No one cares about your age. Someone's going to do something to you, man. You think everyone deals with principles and all that? Nah, it doesn't happen like that all the time. Old guys can get beat up. And I got a crazy story to tell y'all right now that is coming from Florida, man. Florida. But before I tell you this story, just keep in mind, most of the time, you know, like 85% of the time, these old heads, these old guys, no one really messes with them, man. For real. They don't, okay? But do they get beat up on occasion? Yeah, they do. And they can get beat up very bad. But don't sleep on them old heads now. Don't sleep on them. Don't ever underestimate these older individuals, man. There's this thing that people say in the prison system, they got old man strength. It's almost as though they've been holding this strength in for years and years, and then when they release, it's like, Jesus almighty. How did this old man almost rip my freaking jaw off my face? You know what I mean? I told a story about that too. I got in a fight with the old head, diabetic. Pieced him up a few times, and then I went to dump him. It didn't work out. He got me a headlock around my jaw, and dude squeezed my jaw, almost popped my jaw out of my face. If it wasn't for me ripping out one of his cornrows, I would have been done for. For real. Old man was strong as hell. Forearm game on 100. But anyways, like I said, for the most part, these old guys, they're laid back. They're laid back. But they will snap out. They will have a breaking point just like anyone else. And they'll run their mouth. And they will get got. For real. Now check it out. Florida prison. Columbia Correctional Facility. This happened on Thursday, okay? Old guy. Old African-American guy. And looking at his picture, I don't have the green screen or nothing. I'm not going to throw his picture up there. You can go ahead and Google it. But in Florida, the prison is called Columbia Correctional. Go check it out. This guy is an older black guy. Okay, he's an older guy. And looking at his picture, I don't like to judge a book by its cover. And rest in peace to you, buddy. I hope you're wherever you're at. But looking at his picture, he looks like he might have been a little state struck. Okay, this all happened over his cellmate saying he was being very aggravating. For real. Okay. Now, what could possibly make this guy do something to this older guy who is 58 years old, okay? He's 58 years old, and this is what happened to him. All because homeboy said he was aggravated by him. He was strangled to death. This 58-year-old man was strangled to death. Homeboy popped his eyeballs out of his socket, cut off his ear, and wore his ear on a necklace to breakfast the next morning. And kept his eyeballs for later to eat or drink. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely insane. Homeboy, just picture that, okay? How can you even tell the man's family? Well, first of all, this dude was already doing a life sentence for a murder in 81, the guy that got killed, okay? He was doing a life sentence. And the other guy, his cellmate, guess what? He was on death row in Florida. He was on death row. And they took him off of death row and put him in this prison, in this cell, with this cat. Okay, just picture that. Okay, think about it. This dude's on death row. And he's probably been doing everything by himself for years. Okay, probably, I don't know. But he's probably been doing everything by himself. He has a little, a system. And then out of nowhere, they just throw him into a cell population with some stranger guy that's doing life as well. And then they have to work together as cellmates, okay? And do you not understand, after you've been doing something for so long by yourself, you have a routine. And when you're just thrown into a cell with another stranger after you've been doing everything at a routine, at how you like it, and then you got this other guy, he's probably, state struck, but he wants stuff done his way too. He's been doing life sentence as well since 81. So do you think that they're going to butt heads? I'm telling you, it was probably something so minor as just sweeping up a cell or dropping some toenails on the floor. You know what I mean? That is probably what caused this whole thing to happen. I'm telling you right now, the simplest stuff could get you killed in prison. Stepping on someone's shoes, cutting your toenails and not cleaning them up. That stuff aggravates people. And someone that just left from death row sees something like this. I mean, what do you expect? You can't make no excuse for it. I mean, it's completely wrong. Homeboy strangled him, gouged his eyeballs out, and then freaking cut his ear off and wore it as a necklace to breakfast. You know what I mean? But just imagine telling that man who died's family saying, hey, or you reading it in the news the next day all over tabloids or whatever, and you know that your loved one just got his freaking eyeballs gouged out and strangled to death. Just keep in mind, the man was 58 years old. He has gray hair all over his face. He was an older individual, and he went out like that, It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't. You never know what another person is capable of, okay? And, for him to just do what he did to that guy, that goes to show you that he shouldn't even been in a penitentiary. He should have been in a psych ward. Because anyone who is out there and is capable of doing something gruesome like that, probably to an individual he didn't even know until he moved into that cell, is a psychopath, man. For real. Do you know how hard it is for you to actually do something like that, I mean, people have a hard enough time shooting a deer from 50 yards away. Just imagine having a body in your cell and doing that to them. Think about it. But yeah, homeboy, man, he got 58 years old. And I'm going to tell you another quick story about an eyeball popping out. I remember this, man. And a lot of people think that when their eyeball, gets popped out of socket, that it just dangles and hangs. It doesn't work like that. It'll come out of the socket and just sit there bulging out. That's what it does. It doesn't hang unless you break, the optic nerve, whatever. There's a muscle that holds it in place close to the socket. Okay, if it just pops out on accident, it ain't gonna just dangle unless you literally rip that whole muscle or whatever it is that's holding it in place. But anyways, I was walking around the track and all of a sudden, homeboy, I was walking past the basketball court. And then homeboy, I found out later on that homeboy got poked in the eye playing basketball. But I was walking past basketball court and all of a sudden you hear homeboy screaming. He's screaming, you know what I mean? And he's like, and he's screaming about his eyes. So I was like, what the hell's going on? So I walked up and I was about, 15 yards away, and I could see it from 15 yards away. His freaking eyeball was completely out of the socket. You know what I mean? Absolutely insane. You know how freaked out I would be if I went to go touch my eyeball and it was completely out? I'd probably faint. But anyway, homeboy ran to the CO with a couple guys kind of helping him and leading him on because he just had his eye covered. But ran him to the CO, and I never saw him again. Never saw that guy again. I don't even know if they popped his eye back in, but I'm sure they did. But yeah, that was a crazy time. I saw homeboy's eye just popping out. It was nasty, man. It was nasty. I used to know this guy in high school that could pop his eyeballs out and then pop them back in. You know what I'm talking about? It's like boop, 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 boop. It would go in and out, in and out. I'm talking about not completely out the socket, but they would like push out really far. And that was creepy as hell, man. I used to run up to him all the time, man. Let me see the eye jank. Let me see the eye jank, man. But yeah, moral of the story in this video is, hey, if you're an older individual and you might be running your mouth or, it doesn't matter what age you are, you're in the penitentiary. Don't ever forget you are in the penitentiary, okay? It ain't no retirement home, all right? You are surrounded by people that are stressed out just as much as your old self is too. And you can think all you want that nothing's going to happen to you because you're older, okay? Especially the people out there that might be facing some crimes for the first time and they're watching my channel and they might be older and they might be going to prison or jail. Just keep this in mind, wise old man, okay? Keep this in mind. I got some wisdom too, and I'm telling you right now, going to jail or penitentiary thinking nothing's going to happen to you, think again. People are going to try robbing you. People might try to fight you if you get a little sassy at the mouth. Mark my words. Old heads can get it too. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done it already. And go check out, Google Columbia Corrections in Florida about dude passing away. And another thing that happened in that prison, a sergeant. This prison is going pretty hard. And it holds, 3,000 inmates, which is a lot. Okay, that's probably like the size of Greensville almost. But in this prison, a group of guys jumped and stabbed a sergeant to death as well. Can you believe that? It's crazy. And I'll tell you another thing is going rampant in Florida prisons. Was it K2? Whatever. Flocka. Man, I don't know why people do that crazy stuff. That's absolutely insane. But cats in the penitentiary in Florida are getting it in with that stuff. People are dying left and right from that K2. I think it's called K2. I don't know. K12. I don't know. They got crazy numbers and letters all over these new kinds of drugs. But yeah, go check it out. Google it. It's absolutely insane. And don't forget to add me up on that Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. I've been gaming a lot more lately, man. It's one thing that I love. I don't think I will ever grow out of gaming. I'll probably be 50, 60 years old gaming. You know what I mean? Playing the PS6 or something. I don't know. But anyways, I salute to every last one of y'all who've been supporting me on this journey since the beginning and everyone who is just now hitting that subscribe button. Y'all be easy out there. And old heads, don't think you can't get it too. You can get it now. You can get it.